One of the most important features of Primavera P6 software is its access control system. As multiple users are involved in planning and controlling of a project, so it is important to define their responsibilities and give them access to their respective areas only. In Primavera P6, access can be controlled at 3 levels, which are EPS level, project level, and WBS level. If a person is assigned to any EPS element, then he or she will be able to access all the projects under that EPS. If a person is assigned to a project, then he will be able to access only that project and all WBS elements of that project. And if a person is assigned to a WBS element, then he will have access to only that WBS and its activities and will not be able to access other WBS elements of that project. In access control process, first, new users are added to Primavera P6 and a login ID and a password is assigned to them. Then these users are assigned a security profile which defines what type of access they have. For example, can they add new projects or resources, or can they edit or delete project activities, or do they have admin privileges, etc. Then these users are assigned to an OBS element to define their roles. For example, you may have a Project Manager 1 in your OBS. But who this Project Manager 1 is? To define this, you will create a user for this role and then assign it to that OBS element. This will specify that who is the Project Manager 1 and what are his or her privileges. Now you can assign OBS elements to EPS, project or WBS to specify which particular projects or WBS components they can work on with specified privileges. Primavera P6 uses a term responsible manager for person who is assigned to EPS, project or WBS. Now let us see an example on access control in Primavera P6. First, let's create a new user. Do keep in mind that if you have single user license of Primavera P6, then you will not be able to add new users. You can see how many users you can create in your software license, which you can find in your software package. Also, keep in mind that if you are working in a multi-user enterprise environment, then addition of users is usually done by software administrator of your company. But this concept is necessary to understand so that you know how access is managed, which will help you in working with multi-users. To add a new user, go to Admin and then Users. Click on Add. Now specify details of this new user. Let's say login name is Wajid and personal name is Abdul Wazid. Now specify a password for this user and repeat it to confirm. Now click OK. A new user is created. Now you have to specify privileges. To do so, go to Global Access tab. Here you have to assign a global security profile from list of available profiles. You can modify these security profiles or add a new security profile also. To do so, let's close this window and go to Admin and click on Security Profiles. So here you can specify which privileges a security profile will have. Also, you can add more security profiles here by clicking on this Add button and specify its privileges to use for different types of users. For now, let's go back to our users. For this user that I have created, I am assigning him a global security profile of all except users and profiles. This means that this user will have all privileges except admin functions like adding new users and adding new security profiles. After specifying privileges, give this user access to Primavera P6 module by going to Module Access and checking this access box in front of Professional P6. Now close this window. Next step is to assign this user to an OBS element which will specify role of this user in your organization. Go to Enterprise and click on OBS. Let's say that the user we have created is a Planning Engineer 1. Single-click on Planning Engineer 1 to select it. Then click on Users tab and then click on Assign. You will now have all available users in front of you. Single-click on this new user to select it if it is not selected, and then click on this Assign button. Now close this box. So now you have specified that who is your Planning Engineer 1 and what privileges he will have. Now you can assign this OBS user to any EPS, project or WBS so that he can access his projects and do the work required. Now close this window. Now let's create 2 sample projects. We'll see how to create the projects in detail later. Let's say it is needed to assign the user that we have created to sample project 1. In General tab of the project window, there is an option to choose Responsible Manager for this project. Currently, Responsible Manager is CM Solutions. Click on this button to browse for other options and double-click on Planning Engineer 1. This will make Planning Engineer 1 as our responsible manager for this project. Now close your program and sign in again with login and password of new user that we have created. You can see that this user has only one project in his project window which he is responsible for. He can view this project, edit it, and do whatever he is given access to. But he cannot view or edit other projects. Similarly, you can control access at EPS and WBS level also. So this is how the access control system works in Primavera P6. Hope you have enjoyed learning it. Now it's time to move to our next section.